Now, I've definitely been slacking on this install, but we're finally doing it. Let's get the rear SumoSprings on the Tacoma. Let's go. Okay, so here we are with the factory bump stops. I actually have a little run here with some big dips. I do have a cross street, so I'm going to kind of slow down on the first two, and then the third one I'm going to try and get up to about 20 miles an hour and hit that so we can see the reaction to the factory bump stop before installing the SumoSprings. So here we go. So 15, 17, here's 20 miles an hour coming up to the cross street. I want to make sure that I'm not interfering with any traffic. So we're about 10 miles an hour on these. All right, now we're gonna get up to 23 miles an hour and big bump. We've got another big bump here coming up. See how this one handles. 23 miles, 22. Kind of dropped down to about 15 on that one. It was a little steeper. But you can see how the factory bump stop doesn't really engage too much with the frame. And the only load that I have on here right now is just my bed rack, my rooftop tent, obviously me, roof rack, and then one of my Roam cases. And a final one. All right, let's get the SumoSprings installed. Now, for those of you that are interested, here is that part number. And I will leave a link to this model in the description box below. What's really nice is that you do get a set of installation instructions, both sides. We'll go ahead and follow these and make sure we get this all put together properly. All right, as you can see here, we have all the hardware out. We're going to make sure that we get this top plate mounted on top of the bottom plate. But first, we got to mount the SumoSprings to this plate. Now we do have a flathead screw here that's going to fit underneath and fit flush with the bottom there, which is awesome. But first we're going to throw a little Loctite on there, and that way we'll make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. Just hand tighten that, and then there we go. We've got one done. Now we need to do the second one. Now we have the base plate mounted to the bottom of the SumoSpring. Next up, we got to mount this to the bottom plate. Those are going to go in just like this and line up. So he's got these wide cutouts here, so those are going to line up right like that, and then we're going to drop our 4 bolts here straight down through with our nylock nuts in order to secure them to the base plate. There you go. We have the base plate mounted to the top plate. Got those screwed in or bolted in, the nylock nuts on the bottom. This is ready to be installed. The U-bolts are going to go in just like that. All right, we'll get the second one done. And there we go. Both are ready for install onto the truck. All right, now that I got the tire off, we can work on getting the factory bump stop out of here. There is another option where you can just loosen up these U-bolts, raise these up, slide this out, and put the new one in. But because we have the flip kit, we got to make sure that this is going to clear. So I do have the axle up on a jack stand, which kind of flattens out my leaf springs. I just want to make sure that once I set this on top of the leaf spring, I still have enough room to clear where the bump stop is going to hit. So I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump underneath. I'm going to remove all of this stuff, and we'll put the new SumoSprings U-bolt flip kit right here. All right, now we got the old base off of there. We can pull the old U-bolts, and we can pull the bump stop. And as we just kind of compare the two, I'm going to put the base of the SumoSpring right next to the base of the factory. You can already tell that it's a much larger bump stop. And then if I put it down here towards the actual mounting base, you can see just how much it extends above. Now on the bottom of both of these, you see the holes. That's going to line up over this center bolt on the leaf springs. So we'll just make sure that we get that over the top there. So as I said it here, you can actually see just how much more, like there's a whole finger right there. If this was fully flexed, well, I wouldn't even say fully flexed, but right now I've got a flat level of a leaf spring, and I can fit like one finger underneath there. All right, now that we have this on here, let's go ahead and size this. So go ahead and slip this underneath here, make sure we're not getting any of the brake lines. We're not going to be pinching anything. And as you can kind of see, these are quite long, but I think I might want to take a little bit off, because if we are going to get some full compression out of this, I don't want these bolts to be hitting up here on this mount. So I'm going to mark these and do a little bit of cutting. Got everything trimmed down and cut, because the standard U-bolt on these things are pretty long. So here's that standard U-bolt. You can kind of see it is pretty long. And then once I put this kind of up and through, you can see just how long those are. So I had to trim these back. Basically, I just held it up to where I thought, and then lined it up with the base of the SumoSpring, made a line, went and cut them down. I highly recommend you do this just so that the U-bolts don't end up hitting the frame and causing damage. You want this to hit before any of these. So trim those down, and next up what we're going to do is we are going to tighten these down. Right now they're just kind of hand tight. I went through and just hand tightened all of these. We are going to torque them down in an X pattern. So here, back, down, across. So just kind of in that X pattern. So that way we cinch this up correctly, and you're not getting your bolts kind of flaying out like this. So what you want to specify your torque wrench down to is 62 pounds. 62 pounds of torque on these, and I am using a number 21 deep socket wrench for these. So I'm just going to go through, tighten these down kind of one by one. Yeah, looking at these, the U-bolts are straight on there, and they are torqued down to 62 foot-pounds. Now what I'm going to have to do is, after 250 miles, I'm going to come back, I'm going to check the torque on them, and then after 500 miles, do another torque check. 750 miles, do another torque check. That's all in the instructions and what they recommend. All right, now that I have the SumoSpring bump stop installed, now I just got to put the tire back on and do the passenger side. Okay, so just real quick, what I want to do is I just want to make sure that you guys understand that what I want you guys to do is, after you cut these, take the new nut that comes with the kit and just make sure that your cuts are clean by running the nut through there. That'll help clear up the threads and also make sure that you're not going to cross thread these when you install them on the truck. Boom, we're done. Let's get this thing lowered and go for a test drive. All right, we're back at our little testing section. I do have a cross street, so we'll do a slow hit, 2 of them, and then we'll get the big dip and then another big dip, and we'll see how the new rear SumoSprings are activated. Here we go. Getting up to 20 miles an hour. I do have to slow down, make sure I don't get anything through the cross street. Nothing. Here we go. 13 miles an hour on both of those. Now we'll get up to 24 miles an hour. Big bump. All right. And we've got one more big bump coming. And you can kind of tell, even in the car, just how smooth these are. So 22, I'm going to drop down here for a break, 15 miles an hour, and there's that hit. So now I'll load up a comparison between before and after. You guys let me know down in the comment sections what you guys think. And there we have it, the install for the rear SumoSprings with the U-bolt flip kit. If you have any questions that I didn't answer in this video, be sure to leave them down in the comment section below. I'll answer as best I can. If you are interested in picking up a set, like I said earlier, I will leave a link down in the description box below where you can pick up a set for yourself, for your 3rd gen, or even if you have a 4th gen. Obviously the 4th gen is going to be a little bit different, but yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this install. I will do another video doing a review on the front and rear now that I have them both installed. Just real quick, as far as the up front, really like them. I'm excited to see what the rear is going to do, especially when I start loading this up for more camping trips or just trips in general. Thanks for taking the time out to check out this install. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.